I want to talk about Taysom Hill and the New Orleans Saints. So obviously we all know that Drew Brees is still on IR due to injury. He's expected to come back in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, but we'll see. We don't know when Drew Brees is officially coming back, but Taysom Hill has been starting games for the New Orleans Saints the last 2 weeks, and the Saints are 2-0 in those football games. So I want to discuss, is Taysom Hill the future of the New Orleans Saints at quarterback? Because obviously Drew Brees, he's 40 plus years old. He probably will not play any more than about a season or two. He more than likely could retire after this year. Obviously, you still have Jameis Winston on the roster, but a lot of Saints fans are wondering, should we draft a quarterback? Should we trade for Sam Darnold? Should we trade for Dwayne Haskins? What's going on with the quarterback situation? Is Taysom Hill the future? Well, I'll talk about all those nooks and crannies right about now. So, the New Orleans Saints obviously rolled the Atlanta Falcons 24-9. They just beat the Denver Broncos 31-3 this past week. It's pretty clear to me the Saints are one of the 3 best teams in all football. They easily could win the Super Bowl if Drew Brees comes back healthy. And if Drew Brees comes through in the clutch in the playoffs. Sometimes Drew Brees has come through in the clutch in the playoffs. Sometimes he's failed. We'll see what he does this year. But before I talk about Taysom Hill, I just want to say, I think a lot of people actually owe Sean Payton an apology just because a lot of people were so angry that Sean Payton decided to start Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston these past 2 weeks. Jameis Winston, former number 1 overall pick, he did throw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns last year, but he also threw 30 interceptions, which is an astonishingly high number. A big reason why Jameis Winston is a backup quarterback is because he just flat out has turned the football over so many times in his career. He can't seem to take care of the football. That's why he's a backup quarterback right now. And listen, I get it. Saints fans are hoping that Sean Payton can fix his career, that he can turn around Jameis Winston, and that Jameis Winston can be the quarterback of the future going forward. And that still is on the table for Jameis Winston. However, a lot of people say Sean Payton doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know football. He's delusional for starting Taysom Hill. Well, it looks like Sean Payton knows a thing or two about football. It's pretty weird to think that a 14-year head coach that's won 64% of his games, that's won a Super Bowl, knows nothing about football, but I digress to you Saints fans. Just kidding, okay? But either way, let's talk about Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill versus Atlanta played pretty well, He did nearly throw an interception in the first quarter that was dropped in that game. He did underthrow a deep ball very badly to Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders did actually end up catching that football, but it was still a very poorly thrown football by Taysom Hill. Emmanuel Sanders kind of bailed him out, but for the most part, Taysom Hill played very well versus Atlanta. He completed 78% of his throws. He threw the ball 23 times. He had 233 yards passing, a passer rating of 108. He did run the football pretty effectively. He had 10 rushes for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. I thought Taysom Hill played pretty well versus Atlanta. Nothing special, but he made some quick decisions that were very good. Now versus the Denver Broncos, Taysom Hill was just flat out not that good. He only completed 56% of his passes, has 78 yards and 1 interception, along with a passer rating of 43.2. He just wasn't all that great versus Denver. Really, the Saints won the game by running the football effectively with Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara. He wasn't able to fit the ball in the tight windows. Taysom Hill, couldn't fit the ball in the tight windows. Had a very inconsistent deep ball, made some questionable decisions. So he didn't play his best versus Denver, but the team got the win. However, that win was in spite of Taysom Hill. Not to mention, Drew Lock didn't even play in that game. The Broncos had to get a quarterback off the street to play in that game. So I can only give Taysom Hill so much credit for that win. Now, is Taysom Hill the future of the Saints? It's too early to tell because I can only judge you so much versus Atlanta and versus Denver. And when you play poorly versus not a very good Denver Broncos team, I have my questions, And if the season ended today if I were the New Orleans Saints, I would not be confident that the quarterback of the future is on my roster currently. So I'm not sold on Taysom Hill. And I'm actually not really sold on Jameis Winston either, because the last time I saw Jameis Winston, he was a turnover machine that made poor decisions, could not throw the ball consistently, would touch down the field. He just wasn't all that great last year. I understand that he threw for a lot of yards, put up some numbers, but he hurt the Tampa Bay Buccaneers more than he helped them, okay? And again, I'm not at practice every day, so I don't see what Jameis Winston is doing in practice, so I'm just going to trust what Sean Payton is thinking. And listen, one of the big reasons why I think Taysom Hill is starting over Jameis Winston in the first place is not because Jameis Winston's not talented. It's because Jameis is so mistake prone. I think that Sean Payton is just saying, okay, let's roll out the gadget guy, Taysom Hill, who's not going to make a bunch of mistakes, who, is not going to wow you throwing the football, but we can run the football with Taysom Hill. We can be unpredictable for about 3 or 4 games until Drew Brees is back. Then we'll revert back to our old offense, okay? Keep in mind, people, Tim Tebow worked for 7 straight games in the NFL. Tim Tebow won 7 straight games at one point. So Taysom Hill is working. However, I guarantee you Sean Payton is probably not going to roll out Taysom Hill as his starter next season, okay? So I'm not sure about Taysom Hill being the quarterback of the future for the Saints. Could he develop into that guy? Possibly. He's got an okay arm, not a great arm, not a cannon, but a good arm. He's a good athlete. He makes good decisions. He's fairly accurate. He could be a good starting quarterback. But there's a difference between a starting quarterback and a franchise quarterback. And I don't know if Taysom Hill is a franchise long-term quarterback. I think that Teddy Bridgewater is a good starting quarterback. I'm not sure Teddy Bridgewater is a franchise quarterback. Same with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, to me, is a good starting quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. Gets hurt way too often and is way too inconsistent, okay? So that's how I feel about Taysom Hill. If Taysom Hill were to be the quarterback of the Saints next year, I would consider them a team that could win anywhere from 10 to 12 games, probably. But I would not consider them as a Super Bowl contending team just because I would rank Taysom Hill near the bottom among starting quarterbacks. So if I'm the Saints, I'm thinking about drafting a quarterback for the future. I'm thinking about signing Dak Prescott. I'm reevaluating Jameis Winston. I'm thinking about trading for Dwayne Haskins or Sam Darnold potentially. I'm more of a Haskins guy than a Darnold guy. Not sold on Darnold that much. I think Dwayne Haskins has much more potential than him. That's just my opinion, though. But, so that's how I feel about Taysom Hill in regards to his future in New Orleans. Could Taysom Hill be the future of the Saints? Maybe, maybe not. It's not obvious to me. I need more data and more evidence to be sold that Taysom Hill is a franchise quarterback going forward. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.